What's good, y'all? Elvis here. Women don't lie. They tell the truth they need to. Only hold her responsible for what she agreed to. The most frustrating thing in my life as a man is dealing with women because can't live with them, can't live without them type shit. But even as a man whose life does not completely center around women, women are indirectly the center. All the things that I think are worthwhile in the grand scheme of my life indirectly involve women. Because a woman's presence makes the house that I buy a home. You feel me? Even if you're somebody who doesn't specifically prioritize women, the entire economy is based off of women. Men make most of the money in the economy and women spend most of it. Like most of the purpose men have towards making money and growing resources and growing their empire, their dominion, their influence is for the sake of influencing things on the behalf of women. I feel like I had the biggest issues in my life when I didn't understand the level of communication that women are on. Men and women use words very differently. Or let's say masculine and feminine individuals tend to use words and information differently. Someone who's more emotional is going to use words to try to communicate where they're coming from an emotional place, regardless of it's like the facts or not. If it feels real, it is real. To somebody who's in a more of a logical headspace, that's more masculine, the more masculine party in the relationship, they're going to tend to use words to communicate events and information that needs to get passed. Like, I feel like masculine and feminine individuals tend to overestimate how much is actually getting across through their communication. Like a girl could tell me a whole emotional story about X, Y, and Z happened, and like she could paint this whole picture of how the day went previously and how her week was going before that and how that gives context for the story and how she felt and da 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 da. The real truncated story of what happened could have been somebody cut her off in traffic and she flipped off on them, and the interaction might have been a 5-minute interaction. But the story she gonna tell me is starting from maybe a week or a month ago about how so-and-so was playing with her boundaries and that emotional spillover affected how she was feeling for this, X, Y, and Z, and it's a whole domino effect. This is just a small piece of a grander story of how she felt victimized in her life and blah, 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 blah. And that's what she's trying to get across to me. But as a man, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, well, the problem was traffic related. Did you solve the problem? Can we make sure this doesn't happen again? I'm completely missing what she's trying to lay down. But she's trying to communicate where she is emotionally and all these other things, and she's using words for a very different purpose than I am. Like, and same thing on my side. Like, most of the time it's not even about what I say, it's how I said it. My body language and all the communication that's in between the lines that she might be picking up on. Most of the times if I have issue with a feminine individual, it's because I said it too blunt. I didn't make them feel seen where they were. Every now and then I might have to just set a boundary with somebody in my life, whether it be a friend, client, associate, and I just let them know, well, yo, this is where the level of respect is for me. You know what I'm saying? If your actions don't fall in line with that, I take it as disrespect. So sometimes they're like, damn, bro, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that, and this is where I'm coming from. And then we both get to see each other eye to eye as far as where we're really coming from. And then it's not really me versus you, it's us versus the miscommunication. But that completely falls apart if you don't have it within yourself to at least try to see where this person's coming from. Because you got to get out of your own ego, because the way you see it is only one way that it's perceived. Or that's not even half the story. That's a third of the story. Because there's your perception, there's their perception, and there's the reality that's in the middle. So if you're so sure about what you think and so-and-so is wrong, like you're only maximum 33% right. If you're open-minded enough, you might see 60%. Just because we can't fully appreciate and integrate somebody else's full perspective, we can only get a little hints of what their flavor is. Like, I'm a person who will always filter things logically before anything. So somebody who lives in an emotional place where, like, let's say how much sunlight hits their eyes in the morning affects how their day is going to go, I won't ever really 100% relate to that, because most of my life isn't so, I don't allow it to be so fluid. So you're always in communication with yourself. When you make a plan and you follow through with it, you're sending a message to yourself. When you follow through with discipline for yourself, you're sending a message to yourself that you consider this valuable, that you consider this something that's worth investing more energy into, that's making you you believe that it's making you a better version of yourself. And when you fall through on things that you say you're going to do for yourself, you're sending the opposite message. I like to pride myself in my congruence. Like the things that I say, nigga, I do. If I'm not in the process of executing or in the process of trying to figure out how to execute, nigga, I already did it most of the time. I like taking pride in my follow through, as well as just being congruent and knowing what I care about at any given moment. Because that thing is always going to change. But whenever I say I'm doing something, I can be 100% sure I really, really care about it, because I put myself in so many different situations of doing things that I care about at very different levels. So now I can identify internally whether or not this is something that I really want to put it all on the field for. Because I've spent the time and energy to reinforce that within myself, I can smell incongruence in somebody a mile away. But at the same time, every time that I wasn't congruent about what I said I cared about, the first time I dropped out of college, my resolve was weak. I had a good enough reason to be in school and do X, Y, and Z. But when I really measured up how much I wanted to do things and for what reason, it didn't carry enough weight to compete with the things that were a need for me. And that's why I didn't end up finishing. And that's why I ended up being flip-floppy, dropped out to go to barber school, then end up coming back. I finished barber school, but then I ended up dropping out again of college for chemical engineering. I got a video if y'all want to watch it. But if somebody asked me why I was doing it, I was honest about why I was doing it, but I wasn't asking myself the deeper layers of questions underneath of, why do you want to do this? What is the goal past the immediate goal that you're chasing? But there's a certain point I couldn't be that honest with myself. So somebody asked me, I couldn't be honest with them. And if they asked me at the level of honesty that I require now, everything that I say to them would be a lie. At least from their perspective. But if I believe it, it's feel congruent. It's gonna come back to the whole idea, like, women don't lie. Like, they do not lie. They can only tell you the truth that they are comfortable with. If they can't be truthful with themselves, you can't expect them to be honest with you. But the only kind of protection from that kind of, let's say, danger of getting trapped in with somebody who doesn't know what they want is figuring out what you want. Because as a man, you can't put it on anybody. You can't put the onus, the locus of control on anybody outside of you. You can lean on God to help you orient your compass, but you have to do work yourself. And if you're expecting somebody to make you feel good about a life that you create, then you're looking in the wrong direction, because happiness is only in the places that you place it. Happiness is where you decide to build and cultivate it. Anything else is not happiness. Anything other than that is dopamine. It just gives you a nice little high for right now. But that tapers off. And happiness is not like ice cream, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that feels good all the time. Like, improvement doesn't feel good. Better doesn't feel good. What's good is just what feels familiar. I'm in the process of figuring out the next level of what my joy and fulfillment in life is. You know what I'm saying? I'm realizing that I'm past the point where money can buy it. I'm past the point where someone's presence can provide it. It's something that I have to find within myself, and that God is helping me iron out. But I'm also realizing I'm a human with human needs, you know what I'm saying? And the trap is thinking that I can get to the highest level of fulfillment that I've never experienced by just trying to fill these human level needs. So I'm right now, like, I'm gonna keep it a stack. Like, I really don't know how to make my life better, but I'm in the process of figuring that out. And I've just gotten to the point where I've gotten over my ego about knowing how I should do it. All the times that I made quantum leaps in my life were times where I decided to let go of how I felt like I had to get it done. And I was just open to, hey, God, let me know how to do this, because who am I? I only have the resources, the knowledge to get to where I've gotten. I don't know how to get to where I'm supposed to go. So whenever I let go of that, there's usually like a few weeks of I'm uncomfortably wading through the waters, and I feel like I'm whitewater rafting, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit, it gets turbulent. There's never a specific time frame, but after that, it starts to iron itself out, and then I'm at a new tier with new problems, new opportunities for optimization. You know what I'm saying? I just rinse and repeat. Once I get to the top of one mountain, I'm at the valley of another. I'm really uncomfortable. I'm not gonna front. I guess I got personal stuff going on that kind of just like, I'm really tight, bro. I'm really tight, but I'm really tight at myself, nigga. I'm really tight at myself. But I understand that I gotta give myself grace, because God don't handle me the way I try to handle myself. Like, whenever I fuck up, God's like, hey, hey, tighten up, discipline a little bit, but here you go. Here's some tools to get a better result. So I think I need to extend some of that to myself. But I'm coming to terms with being a workaholic. So I'm in the process, you know what I mean? But I started leaning into better barbering and consultations and whatnot. If you feel like talking to me will contribute to making you a better barber, feel free to hit me up. I got private coaching available. I got a Patreon. I have a bunch of online courses that I created. And also I'm going to be making more, but I'm also going to be adding a lot of videos just talking about like just raw game, you know what I'm saying? Like things that help me develop as a barber as well as just a person, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like this barbering shit is barely about clippers. You know what I'm saying? It's really just the art of building relationships. So over time, everything that made me a better person made me a better barber. So if there's things that you feel like I can help with, just feel free to, you know, drop a question, you know what I'm saying? Or hit my Patreon, any of that. But I appreciate y'all. Till next time, Craft of a Clout, I'm out.